Okay, what's up guys? Welcome back to the daily vlog. Today we're gonna do something a little different, just to start, and then we're gonna head back to the song we're working on. But my friend Thrillhouse hit me up this morning, and he's like, I'm working with Scooby, and these are two hometown friends of mine who we've been really consistent with the music. Scooby and I have 28 songs on the Lost Vibrations series, which I'll link in the description. And so we've done 3 albums together, and then he's done various songs for me. I've done various songs for him, and we've just never stopped working. And so Thrill hit me up this morning, and he was like, yo, like, can you like record a verse on this? We just need like a verse. We have an open, and maybe you could put it in your vlog. And I was like, bad. Yeah. Was feeling stuck, had to get my ass up off the couch. Was feeling down, then I invented a brand new sound. Feeling stuck, had to get my ass up off the couch. I was feeling down, then I invented a brand new sound. I started rapping other rappers, I was running around. People hear me talk my shit now, call that word of mouth. I buy that house, then I flip it or I rent it out. I'm in the crib like a baby, kicking way too loud. Bitches know my CNN, I took the cable out. I buy that house, then I flip it or I rent it out. I'm in the crib like a baby, kicking way too loud. We gotta find the key of this. Boo. What is that, A? I was very close. It's G sharp. All right, that was easy. They need to add, I'm gonna tell Thrill, this verse is 11 bars. I need them to add a measure. Ooh, I need to re-record that actually. And going straight for what you want, it's how you make a fortune. The house castle in the mountains, watch us raise a fortune. So as you can see, we've dropped the stems into the drive. Let's take a little break. We are going to come back and continue working on the mix. I think we're gonna do some vocal tuning today, so I'll check back in with you in a second. I wanna break down the differences between auto-tune and Melodyne, and I'm not an expert in this area, but auto-tune is great for, you know, you can put it on while you're recording, and it's great for just getting an idea of what the track is going to sound like, what the tuning is going to sound like. It's more that you use Melodyne afterwards. You use Melodyne for like the fine tuning, the formant shaping, the splitting of notes, the retuning of like split notes, vibrato editing, pitch modulation, and it's just, they're slightly different. They're slightly different, and I use both. A lot of people use both. You want to put Melodyne before auto-tune in the chain. You want to put Melodyne first, then auto-tune, and then everything else. And that's just because Melodyne's usually tuning the dry vocal. If you do auto-tune first, then Melodyne's not going to be as accurate, and auto-tune's more of just like a, it snaps everything into the pitch in a more fine-tuned way. So we're going to go in here with the lead here, and honestly, we're just going to go in with it. We'll see how it goes. You'll see here we have all of our recording kind of tracked into this. And in Melodyne, you can, there's 3 different tools here. So I'm not great at using Melodyne, but there's a general cursor, and then there's a scroll tool where you can just kind of grab the track like this as the little hand, and you won't be clicking on any of these and moving them. And then there's a zoom, and the zoom is pretty self-explanatory. So I'm glad I did that. And then you've got your pitch modulation, pitch drift, we'll get into that. I don't really use this too much. The formant tool, maybe I should. Amplitude tool, I don't use too much. And then this is time shaping, attack speed, and note separation. This is if you want to chop something up and change it. But we are going to go in here and just see what we've got. I can't do this by myself. And so now if you see, I can't do this. I can't lie, I can't do this by myself.
myself.
Okay, so we brought this up. You can see the pitch kind of drifts higher. So I'd love to just...
I'm falling down, but you would never know I fell, and I prospered. I'm falling down, but you would never know I fell, and I prospered. If I could just focus on myself.
That is coming in early, the play.
Options, I wanna play the cards.
So I'd like to move it. I'm gonna go options, and I'm gonna go to the time grid because we don't want things snapping. We want to be precise. We're gonna deactivate it and see if we can.
By myself, options, I wanna play the cards. I wanna play the cards I'm dead. I wanna play the cards I'm dead. I wanna play the cards. I wanna play the cards I'm dead. I wanna play the cards I'm dead. I wanna play the. I wanna play the cards I'm dead. I wanna play the cards I'm dead. I wanna play the cards. I wanna play the cards. I wanna play the cards I'm dead. I'm falling. I wanna play the cards I'm dead. I'm falling down, but you would never know I fell. Yeah. I wanna play the cards I'm dead. You would never know. You would never know. Yeah. You would never know I fell, and I. You would never know I fell, and I.
The main key with Melodyne, I think, is to use it kind of sparingly. And I'm not editing pop tracks. I'm really not trying to get like a factory, mint sound here. I really am proud of the rustic, kind of imperfect way of making music and performing music. I think it just keeps it real. I think it keeps the music real. And snapping everything to the grid is just... It's just doing a lot. It makes it sound very robotic, especially after you put the auto-tune on. And so I like to use it sparingly. I like to make, if there's some glaring mistake, I'm a pretty good singer, so there's not too many glaring mistakes. But, the notes where I'm going falsetto and then returning to a regular kind of delivery, singing from the neck and then singing from the chest, if you will. Like, I think there's a lot of those errors in here. So, like, you can see, like... We'll just play this through.
I'm afraid I'm quite in common with the well-known, and I'm trying to get.
See how that's. You can just raise that up.
I'm afraid I'm quite in common with the well-known, and I'm trying to get what's mine without the elbow.
The cool thing about Melodyne is you actually can change the amplitude. I think this is amplitude. Is that right? No. Where's the amplitude? Amplitude. Yeah, I said I didn't use this much, but I kind of did.
I'm afraid I'm quite in common with the well-known, and I'm trying to. I'm afraid I'm quite in common with the well-known, and I'm trying to get what's mine with you.
We're just gonna run this down. We're just gonna go one by one, and that's. Dude, mixing kind of sucks. I'm sorry. Like, it's not great. It's not the most fun thing in the world. I know there's some people who like really like doing it, but to me, it's very, like, it can get very monotonous, very technical, and it's not great. So I'm going to try to make these next couple days as entertaining as possible, but I don't have too much to say. I'm teaching you guys how to use the plugins in general. I'm not an expert on you. And then I'm just kind of using my ear and doing the best that I can. And I'm not looking for perfect. I think imperfect is really solid in music. I think it gives you a big advantage when you can find the humanness in your art. So another important point about Melodyne is you really don't want to do it without the rest of the song playing, because even if something appears like you're snapping it into the correct position on the scale, maybe it deserves to be a little bright. Maybe that options, maybe putting it directly on, what note is that? G sharp? Yeah, G sharp. Maybe putting it right perfectly in that groove is not where you want it, actually. And that's the experience I have with Melodyne, is what you see is not necessarily what you get. And there's a lot of if you're selecting them all and snapping them into a position, you might be setting yourself up for a little bit of weirdness, is all I'm saying. Okay, this is going pretty well. I'm not too mad about this. The problem is, the more we complicate this mix, the more I am worried that we will have to bounce it out and like set up a new session, because things could get pretty complicated. I'm worried about my CPU, honestly, to be honest with you. Like, to be dead honest. I was trying to Melodyne the right ear, and I was like, where's the volume? Where's the volume? Bro, it's the right it's the right side. Okay. The main things to look out for in using Melodyne, I would say, don't overdo it. I would generally not highlight all and double click, and what that does is it snaps every single syllable to the pitch. That is just going to be a little too much, and it's going to be imperfect across the board. There are some notes you want to leave alone. You want a little bit of a natural sound. And I would just comb through and pick out where you want to adjust, split where it's going to, split the notes where it melds them together. And overall, I don't usually worry about setting the key in Melodyne. And then one more thing to know about Melodyne is it lies to you. Visually, it will look like it's doing something, but the note is doing something completely else. And your voice will just be you have to use your ear, essentially, is what I'm saying. We're going to come back to this tomorrow. Another long day in the studio for me. I'm just kind of figuring out my process, going back to doing my solo songs and my singles, and I just want to upgrade everything. So I've spent a lot of today off camera just trying to figure my shit out, and tune back in every day. I'm going to try to give as much sauce as I can. We are almost done with this song. As much as I'm dragging it out, I think we're almost done. So thank you so much for watching. Peace.